aboard the CFP Express. Next stop, the Quotation Station.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new series here on the Catholic Family Podcast. This is called the Quotation Station. My name is Anthony, friends call me Rips, and I'll be your host for this series. What we're going to do in this series is we're going to cover quotes from saints, books, sermons, etc. that I've collected over the years. And these I found particularly inspiring when I came across them, and I thought, if I was inspired by them, why hoard the inspiration, why not spread it? So that's what this series aims to do. To be completely honest, I never thought I would actually be doing this podcast until I listened to Mrs. Lisa Davis's Feast Day Quick Take on St. Augustine, where she lists the many lovely and uplifting quotes from him, and that was possibly my all-time favorite episode on this channel, and it really inspired me, and I reached out to Kevin, saying how much I liked that episode, with an idea for perhaps maybe a series around quotes from saints and such. Not knowing that he would reply and ask me to actually host a series myself. But here we are, and I'm truly honored to be here. So special thanks to Mrs. Lisa Davis for the inspiration, Kevin for the invite, and obviously Mr. Dan Davis for all the hard and thankless work he puts in behind the scenes. And thanks as well to all the other series hosts. There's Matt and Thomas, Dominic, Holly and Mandy, and all the priests. And really everyone who contributes great content to this wonderful channel, and again, I'm truly honored and humbled to be here. A few final words before we jump into this first episode. Firstly, throughout the series, I'll be analyzing quotes, but just know that I'm not a priest or a theologian by any means. I'm just a layman wanting to share some inspiring quotes from those far wiser than I. So I sometimes have to add a little bit of context to some of the quotes so that they make sense on their own. And note that I also mainly choose quotes that inspire me, and maybe you won't find them inspiring, and that's perfectly fine. I'm just assuming that at least some listeners might be inspired by some of the quotes throughout the series, and even if one listener is inspired for even one moment and it lifts their minds toward God, it'll all be worth it for me. And that's really what I'm aiming to do in this series. Also, if anyone has any ideas throughout the series for any quotes they want me to cover and share, please feel free to add them in the comments or send Kevin a quick email. I'd be more than happy to look at some new quotes and perhaps add some new ones to my collection and maybe have some on the series as well, so please feel free to do that. My apologies for such a long intro. I promise this is just for the first episode. Future episodes will get right to the point. I think in general I'll plan between 2 and 5 quotes each episode, but due to the long intro on this one, I'm just going to have 1 quote for this first episode. I'd like to start off most episodes with a little prayer, and if I can, relate them to the quotes that I give. This one I have today is on love of God, so let us pray in act of charity. O my God, I love thee above all things with my whole heart and soul, because thou art all good and worthy of all my love. I love my neighbor as myself for the love of thee. I forgive all who have injured me, and I ask pardon of all whom I have injured. Okay, to jump into this episode, I'm going to start off with one of my all-time favorite quotes. This is from The Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis, and in this quote, he is speaking about love of God. Quote, "A wise lover of God regards not so much the gift of him who loves, as the love of him who gives." Unquote. Think about that for a moment. A wise lover of God regards not so much the gift of him who loves, as the love of him who gives. This quote always really spoke to me. It has such a depth of meaning. And it really brings you to the fact that it's natural human instinct to crave what we need, what we want, and really what we can get from others. And I think many times we base our love of others off of how much we can get from them. This is our natural fallen human inclination, and it's our base animal instinct. And really, if you think about animals, a dog, a cat, a bird, or any pet really, their quote-unquote love of their owners is because their owners feed them, pet them, give them everything they need. It's always about what they can get. And this really comes naturally to animals, and unfortunately, it sometimes is the same way with us. When God blesses us with something we needed or something we wanted, we get really happy and thank Him for what He's given us. In itself, that thanksgiving is a good thing, but we many times focus our appreciation on the gift of the giver instead of the giver of the gift. We should not so much just love God because He gives us so much, but we should love what He gives us because it comes from Him, whom we love so much. So I want us all to focus our love of God on God Himself. Having the gifts that He gives us merely add to the number of reasons that we already love Him. So I'll finish off with repeating this wonderful quote one more time, and then I hope to see you all in the next episode. A wise lover of God regards not so much the gift of him who loves as the love of him who gives. May God bless you, and may Our Lady guide and protect you.